Welcome to another episode of the Global Game Pod, where we focus on one thing and one thing only, and that's football.
What a goal from Ronaldo! It is absolutely magnificent. It is David Beckham.
With Coach Rudy and friends, this is Global Game Pod.
Yo, what's happening, people? Welcome to another episode of the Global Game Pod, brought to you by CKB Interiors. You guys know what to do by now. If you need a kitchen or a bedroom, go visit their website. All right, here we go. My guest, some of you will be looking at him. Maybe some of you got an idea, especially the older generation, the old Bari boys and that. If you guys are watching, then you definitely recognize him. But for the younger generation, the man on the screen is Marvin Hamilton. Now, to some people who don't know him, you might Google him, you might see some articles about him, and especially in the next coming weeks or so, especially with this platform that we've got, he's an international football player. But there's a twist to it. If you look at him, this is not being discriminative or anything like that, but if you look at him, you will not guess what country he represents. So this is going to be fun because he actually represents the South Asian community. And that's why it's such a privilege to have you on. So first of all, Marvin, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much.
Right. So just before we start, I always like to ask how you getting on in these times. It's a strange time for us all. But in terms of yourself, how you keeping up in terms of your fitness and stuff like that? Still getting on with it, or have you become a bit lazy?
I mean, as soon as it started, I probably had about a week or two just off, just chilling, relaxing. And I had a few niggles and nothing too much, but just to get rid of, thinking a couple of weeks and we'll be back at ball. But literally, after that, obviously we knew what was happening. I'm not the greatest. I would like to say I'm naturally fit, but you always got to keep on top of your fitness. And running, just doing road runs and long distance stuff, I'm not a fan of it. I'll do it, but I just don't like it. I get bored. So I ended up buying a bike,
brilliant.
a push bike, pedal bike, sorry, not a push bike. And literally just been riding around, man. Every day I've been getting on my bike, been riding everywhere. So I enjoy that. Get the headphones on, just listen to music and just ride, and I enjoy that. So I've been doing that. Do a workout with a few of my boys that play football as well. We try and do one every day at 12 o'clock. So, it helps us keep us motivated. We motivate each other, bounce off each other.
No, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's very, very good that now I have to, because I started with it. Now, normally the way I do these things is I always go right to the bottom and start all the way down from like 3-4 years old when football started for you. Now, I ain't going to do that with you. I'm going to start right at the current because the people will probably be wondering what country. But considering I'll have promoted this by now and the episode will be have had the snippets and everything will be on Twitter and Insta and the rest of it. People will already know. People will already be baffled. So we may as well just go straight into it. And so you are representing the Sri Lankan national team.
Yeah, that's right, man.
All right, we need to start there. Who's Sri Lankan? How does it work? What's going on here?
All right, so my mum's actually from Sri Lanka. She was born there and she grew up there and she moved over to UK to study. So similar to my dad. My dad's actually from Nigeria.
Okay.
So obviously that's why I'm looking like a black boy, So, literally they met here and I was born and got two different backgrounds. But I experienced a lot and. Yeah, I'm half Sri Lankan and half Nigerian.
That's
UK.
Brilliant, man. That's brilliant. So you are a representative of the South Asians in football, and we are quite big on that. We do. I mean, not to say that we don't, because we're from East London. East London. You're from East London as well. We're one of the most multicultural, diverse
100%
places in the world. So when we say we are proud advocates of South Asians, we say that because there's a lack of us in the game, and we want to change that stereotype. We want to change it. But this is the point. The problem with South Asians is now, and this is a question I'm posing to the South Asian community, and I will get your thoughts on this in a second, is would you accept this man as a South Asian? Because I hear a lot of murmurs and a lot of this and that about players like Hamza Chowdhury, for example, who's half Bangladeshi, half whatever he is. Yeah. And obviously he looks like a black man as well. And people say, he's not really Asian. So now my question to them is, I've got someone on the show who's a representative of Sri Lanka national team. He's done more than any of us have done. we don't represent none of our national teams. You represent your national team. And that's your mum's home country. So that's something massive to be proud of. But my question to the South Asian community is, would you recognize this guy as an Asian? And now bringing your thoughts into it, what is your perception of the South Asian community in terms of recognizing you as a member of us, basically?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely hard, you know, because anyone that looks at me, you just think I'm a black boy or black person, you know. So it's hard for people to understand straight away, you know. So I've always had in my head that, you know, people just are never gonna know who I am, you know, straight away. Like if you look at me, you can't just judge me straight away because you don't know who I am. So, but at the same time, people will judge me. So literally, anywhere that I've got Asian friends, I've got friends that, you know, play football and they're different colours or whatever, but anyone that actually truly knows me, who trained with me, who actually experienced playing with me, they know that I'm half Asian. So, you know, when I was a little bit younger, we had a few Asian boys as well that I trained with, and I ended up trying to, because I wanted to play football every single day, you know, I just play from Monday to Sunday every day. So I play on Sundays as well, and I play for a team called Asianos, and literally, that was the first team, Asian team I played for, the Asianos, and literally, them boys didn't have a clue. They didn't know I was half Asian, you know, until one of my fat boys, Zeus, he was like, yeah, Mar's Asian, you know, Mar's from Sri Lanka,
Wait, is this Zuba Halim, yeah?
Yeah, so Zuba Halim is one of them, and then there's another Zubs.
Oh, the other Zubs, yeah. These two were sensations. Listen, I grew up, like, they're my age. You guys are my age. You're the same age as me. We're the same age. And people don't know that I actually, because we were playing a line with each other, so we probably crossed paths on a football pitch.
100%, yeah.
We probably played against each other as well. But the point is that these guys, like people like Zuba and people like that, I looked up to them as a kid because the things they could do with the ball at their feet was surreal. Do you understand?
Unreal. Zeus, I still see Zeus, yeah. Zeus can still do stuff that people can't do, that I can't even do. You know what I mean? And it's mad. It's actually mad. But yeah, so I've trained with Zeus since I was young, both of them. And literally, we used to play against each other in school matches. We used to be rivals. And if you was literally in the football industry, like that's all you did. You knew about Zeus is Asian, you know, but you didn't know me, Marvin, was Asian. So it was hard unless you actually knew me. I mean, it's difficult to know. So I don't blame anyone that is trying to be judgmental, I guess. You know?
Yeah, this is the thing, you know. It's like people always they throw the phrase around, "Don't judge a book by its cover," but not many people really adhere to it, do they? Just be realistic. Let's be real about it.
Not in football.
No, they're 100% not in football, 100%. Yeah. But what about? So you've been out to Sri Lanka, I assume. You've been out there. You played with the national team. You've done all of that stuff, yeah. What was that like? What was that reaction like when you went in? When you first time you walk into a changing room? What was that like?
So you know where it was? I literally went to a training camp in Qatar. So when I first met I landed like, I think it was like 3 a.m. in the morning. So I only met the general manager straight away. So he come pick me up from the airport with his guys, and then went to the hotel. And then I was rooming with someone. I was rooming with the captain. So he's the goalkeeper. And as soon as I went in, he was up already, and he was just welcoming me straight away. You know, he was so nice. And then he was like, just gave me the lowdown about what's going on tomorrow, and then just hit the sack, went to sleep, woke up next day, and then literally met everyone at breakfast. So it wasn't like I went into a training session straight away Yeah, I just went to we had breakfast. The manager introduced me to everyone. Everyone was nice, shook hands, and it was like it wasn't a response of he don't look Sri Lankan. It was literally my brother, come, let's go, let's go and train, let's do our bits. And yeah, man, that's how it's ever been. I've been down to Sri Lanka for years. You know, I've still got family there, and I wasn't sure whether they even had a national team only till probably last 3-4 years. And when I saw it at first, I wasn't really sure if it was like, you know, anything decent, you know. So that's why only recently I've literally got my passport done. Well, it's nearly finished, and then I'll be able to, you know, play as many games as I want, and I'll be classed as an Asian player as well. So
yeah, 100%. This is why for me, it's quite a privilege, because I think this is your like the first time you're sharing your story.
yeah.
So this is a massive. This is an exclusive, man. I'm bragging about this.
Yeah,
I'm taking the brags on that. No, but that's wicked. But now what I will do is I will go all the way back, and I will ask, where did football start? Obviously, you're from the end, so I know if you're anything like me, I know where football started for me. So the football started for you in the exact same place, out on the streets.
yeah.
But what age were you? And in terms of your grassroots career, what was that like? Where did you play? And what age did you really start?
I was probably a late one, you know, to be honest. Literally played in the streets, played with my friends, and I enjoyed it, but I wasn't like, my first love. I didn't fall in love with it straight away. I was doing all sports. Like, I just love competing. That's what it was. I love to try and be better than everyone else at everything. You name it, you know? So that's the sort of person I was. And then in primary school, I think when I got to about year 3, year 4, everyone started getting bigger, everyone started getting better, everyone started getting quicker. So then I was like, shit, like I need to, you know, turn up my game. And then like that's when I started getting introduced. One of my friends, a boy called Bestie, Aaron Best, I don't know if you know him, he was the best in my school. He was the best in my school. So it was like, nah, I need to try and top him. Like, what's he doing? Is he playing for a team? And started getting to know him, and literally he was playing for a team, started training with him. And then yeah, that's how I started, you know, that's how I started. So I started at a team called Ridgeway. Ridgeway was my first.
Yeah, Ridgeway Rovers, heard of them, yeah.
My first team that I played for at grassroots level. And yeah, man, it's been a funny journey, because after that I started training with Intwood. I don't know if you know Intwood.
Oh, listen.
Yeah, there was
Me and Intwood. Yeah, so what, Mike, I'll just jump in there and give you my experience on Intwood. So yeah. My teams compete in the East London Essex League. And Intwood have a section of teams that play in the Echo.
Yeah.
And then they have a section of teams that play in the ELE League. So it's our first season with my new academy. And I've been in the ELE League for about 7 years previous to that, and I held I've held one of the best records in any team that I've been in. Where I've only lost 1 game in 7 years.
No way.
Yeah, in 7 years, I only ever lost 1 game. I only saw defeat one time in 7 years. Yeah. We went to that. I've got an under-8 side, very good under-8 side. Just put them together. They're doing their bit, they're slapping everyone off the park. Come January, we've had to play Intwood. And I'll never ever forget the game, because we played the game and I'm thinking, and everyone around us is thinking that, yeah, we're the dog's bollocks. Naturally, you start to become like that, because when you become so normal, you think you know, you can never lose again.
Yeah.
And then reality hit us, and we played Intwood, and these guys bopped us off the park. It's only under-8s game. It's only a little 5-side game, but mate, I got taught a lesson. I got taught personally, like for myself, for my ego, for my mind, I got taught a lesson. And I was like, I need to be like them. So everything I done from that day onwards was about perfection. I was like, no, my teams have to play a certain way. My boys have to be a certain way. Everything has to be like they were. And not only do we have to be like them, we have to beat them at their own game. So now I can confidently say that I think I've built an academy that can, because we can't match their numbers. They've been around for too long.
Yeah.
You know, that's just something that I can never ever match. But I think that we can compete with them now. And that's credit to Intwood, because if I didn't get that slapping, I'd probably just been an egotistic prick. Comfortable. Yeah, I just been probably a prick all my life. But I needed that lesson, and so that's brilliant that you got. So if you got your first bits of football, your basics,
early years,
I can just imagine you being a baller then.
Yeah, man. So it just literally from there, Intwood, trained there, and then Danny Bailey, you probably know him as well. I just started training with him, and that's how I met Zoobs. That's how I met everyone. Literally training with Danny, and yeah, man, that's how I got my trade. I want to say, like my the foundation of myself, you know. And then after that, I went into so I was doing all right at Ridgeway. I was doing all right. I was, getting to grips with, being a team player and have to pass the ball to my teammates, that sort of thing. And my coach at the time, who was at Ridgeway, he was like, "Oh, you're doing really well. We want to try and get you a trial somewhere." So me thinking, yeah, I don't mind. I'd love to do that. So the time it might have come. I got like a 6-week trial invitation to go into Arsenal, and I went into Arsenal, trained the first week, and I could tell that these lot were just, they were just unbelievable. Like they were doing stuff that I couldn't do. I couldn't do everything. I wasn't that player that could do everything. If I was a quick learner, So if I saw something, I would practice it, and then I'll be all right at it. So I was a quick learner. So after that first week, I learned so much. Not even just by actually training, but just looking and seeing things, So the first week went, done all right. Second week went, but did okay. I was there for 6 weeks anyway. And I did okay, but it wasn't good enough. Wasn't better than anyone there really. That's honestly speaking. So I went back to Ridgeway. That was in the summer, so it was like the season after. I went back to Ridgeway. The team started falling apart. Players were going to other teams, better teams, because the team wasn't great or whatnot. But I stayed there. Me and some of my close friends, we stayed there. And the coach was adamant. He was trying to get me a club. He was literally trying to get me a club. But me not realizing how good it was to play for a youth team club at that time, I didn't understand it properly. I literally didn't understand it properly. It was strange. I was just like, because I used to see some players that would play on a Sunday with their Sunday team, and then on the next week on a Saturday they'll play for their professional club.
Yeah.
So I never really understood, if you was part of a professional club, you've got a chance. You've got half a chance. So he called me up once, the coach, and said, I can get you into Chelsea. And I said, okay, yeah, that would be cool. He goes, but they got 2 boys that play for England. They got 1 boy that plays for blah, 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 this, that, and other. So I was just like thrown back from that, I was just like, am I actually ready? I don't think I'm ready. Like this time when I go in somewhere, I just want to sign. I didn't think if I went through with it, that would give me some more experience. I'd learn more. Maybe. Yeah. I never thought like that. So I was just like, I'm not sure if I'm ready. He sort of scared me out of it. I don't know if he meant it or he was like trying to do something. I don't know what was going on. I was just like, yeah, I don't think I'm ready. And so that went by. And then I got to the age where it was getting to year 10, year 11, where people were getting scholarships, year 11.
Yeah.
So, I had 2 good friends that were at Charlton, and they had been offered their scholarship already. So they literally lived down the road from me. So we used to train together, times that we wasn't training with our clubs or whatever. And we were literally the same. Maybe they had a little bit more experience than me, talking about matches. Like I didn't play a lot of matches.
They probably, but did they probably not? They're probably in the academy system already, correct? If they're getting scholars, then they're in the academy system.
They were there since the age of 8.
Yeah, so there you go then.
That sort of thing. So, they knew how things worked, and I was like, I was trying to compare myself to them. That's what I was doing. So I was like, yeah, I can do what they do, blah blah blah, and didn't really get anything till the summer, when a few of my friends and me, we applied to go to Barking Abbey.
Yeah,
that was it, Barking Abbey. So we went and signed, done whatever, done our GCSEs, and we went to pre-season. And the guy who was running it, a guy called Dave Muir, he wasn't saying you'll sign and ready for the college yet. He was just basically training it through the summer and see how you get on. And then he'll select whoever, 20 or whatever he wanted. There was like 80 kids there.
Yeah.
60 kids. And everyone was decent. People were getting released from clubs, so they'll come in here. This was the spot to go. That's what it was. So I was training there, and I just wasn't doing well. I wasn't doing well at all. I was looking like an average player. So I remember Dave, he sat me down once and he was just like, it's not looking great. You're not pushing yourself. You're not doing this. And I was thinking, shit, like I can't even get into a college side now. Like this ain't great. And the rest of my boys, they were saying, yeah, we're gonna sign you. Don't worry, your place is cemented. And this, that, and other. And I was going home thinking, shit, like I ain't even gonna be with my friends and play football. So anyways, a couple of weeks later, I got to the final decision and he signed me somehow. I don't know how. He just might have thought I was, he saw something.
What going back to that Barking Abbey, because obviously you're born in 88, 31. What month is that? I want to see if we're in the same year or not.
October.
Yeah, so we're in the same year. Yeah, is that?
Yeah.
Would we be in the same year? Yeah, we'll be in the same year. Yeah, we'll be.
When's your birthday?
I'm in March, so we'd be in the same year.
Yeah, March. Yeah, same.
Yeah, I'm March 89 though. 89. So yeah.
Yeah, that's same as Zeus. My other boy Zeus. Yeah.
Okay, so all right, Barking Abbey. Now you mention it, yeah. Not many people know that I actually came to that trial.
Did you?
Yeah, I was actually there. As well.
No way.
Yeah, it's mad how small the world is, isn't it?
Crazy. That's crazy.
So the story with me I was at Fulham.
Okay.
And I was like, I was in and out. I played quite a few games and didn't play, and then I got injured. During my injury, they signed a player, international player, and I just couldn't get back in, and my time was done there. I just knew my time was done. So when I came back, obviously, I wasn't head gone in a sense because I kind of didn't really enjoy playing, but I wanted to be around football. I think it was a more mental thing where people knew that this guy loves the game and he's gonna do X, Y, Z. I don't know if you ever felt like that, like he's gonna do this and this and this in the game, and you think I can't just walk away from it. So I came to the trial at Barking Abbey, and I wasn't successful, but I made a big mistake when I came there because I saw and I can just imagine seeing someone like you there and thinking, oh, he's a big guy, man. Like I'm not gonna be able to compete in the same position or something, whatever it was. So on the day, I changed my position. On the day, I'm like a 10. I'm a 10 centre forward. And then I looked around, and I don't know if you noticed, but if you were at the same trial, then you would notice there was only like 2 or 3 goalkeepers.
Maybe, maybe.
I was like the 4th goalkeeper. They needed a goalkeeper, and I put my hand up. I don't know why.
No way. Hey, that's insane, That's smart and like silly at the same time, innit?
Yeah, it was one of those because I'd played for the school team as a goalkeeper from year 7 to year 9. So it wasn't like I didn't know how to play in goal, but I'd never been trained as a goalkeeper. I think I was naive in thinking that it's just a goalkeeper, innit? Like whatever, I'll do that. So when I saw all the kids on trial, like you said, that number makes sense to me because I'm looking at it thinking there's only 15, 20 positions available. And there's so many of us here, and I really want to get in. So when they said goalkeepers, I went,
That's crazy,
that's actually so mad. It's so mad that you were probably at the same trial. You just never know, innit? That's mad. So you got into Barking Abbey. I know did you do the full 2 years there?
No, so I didn't. It's so funny because that same summer we had not trial games. We had games against pro clubs. So there'll be like the A team who's going to go play against, let's say Ipswich. Yeah. And then the B team is going to go play against Northampton. So they sort of put the stronger team against the better teams and whatever. So there was one game. One of my friends got picked to go in the A team to go play against Gillingham, and I went to go play against Rushden and Diamonds or someone like that. It was just, it was rubbish. So my friend, he went and played and they were interested in him. Gillingham was interested in him. So he ended up going training there, but still attending the college, so he was training there.
Yeah.
Still going. And they asked him about any more, like, have you got any more players at your college? And there was like, yeah, I've got one player. Like, he was thinking about me.
Yeah.
And this boy, I met him at the college. He was someone that you just, connected with straight away. I didn't know him, just connected with him. And he really and truly, he didn't know how good I was. He didn't know. He just knew that I was good. I was fit, strong, quick, just the normal stuff. You know, nothing. Not great technically. You never saw nothing really.
Yeah.
So he was like, yeah, I've got one boy, Marvin. He was like, all right, yeah, can you bring him down? And he's like, yeah, I'll bring him down. So he called me. He was like, Marvin, I just got your trial. I was like, hang on a minute. I was like, all right, cool. He's like, what's the team? He's like, Gillingham. And then I was like, oh yeah, that's sick. There must be like a championship team, like, you know. I never knew about League One, League Two. Honestly, I never knew about conference. I never knew about any of that. I was just like, literally, Premiership. That's all that I had in my head. I'm gonna play in the Prem one day. That's literally all I had. And he was like, yeah, they're in League One. It's a chance to get a scholarship, innit?
Yeah.
So literally, I trained there. Still attending like Barking Abbey, same sort of thing that he was doing, and playing games for them as well. So they sort of let us. They didn't sign us yet. They were just letting us play games and still attend the college while we could finish our college work. So we was doing that in and out. And literally at the end of the season, they was like, "Yep, we're going to give you 2 scholars. You're going to start next year."
Wow.
So we was over the moon. You know, it was like that's you know, anyone that you hear about doing that now, it's like unheard of. But back then, I think there was a lot more leeway. People were getting in a little bit later, and so on. But yeah, if it wasn't for my friend, I probably would have been still at, you know, riding out at Barking Abbey.
That's mad. So your mate was your agent early, yeah?
Basically, yeah. And you know what? This boy, yeah, his name is Louis Cumbers. He's been in non-league as well. He's been a pro, and he's not playing right now at the moment. He had a few injuries or whatnot, but I still speak to him. He's still my boy. You know, they say that you can't make friends in football, but I've got friends, man. I've got friends in football.
That's brilliant, man. That's brilliant. So you got your scholar now. You're at Gillingham. Finally, that dream that you wanted has happened, although it be at a League One side. And while we're on that subject, man, because you said it there, you just made the point that I didn't know about Championship, League One, League Two, Conference. You didn't know, and you at this point you're a 17-year-old boy.
Yeah.
And it's exactly the same now. It's the same. Like youngsters don't know how much more there is to football than just the Premier League. So how important now do you think that if you could talk to a younger version of yourself, how important would it be for you to educate him on the whole pyramid of the game?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's definitely important to know, you know, the whole, you got to put yourself, just like you put yourself in your position the way you said about the goalkeeper thing. You gave yourself a chance, like a higher percentage of getting in somewhere, you know, because you saw an opportunity, so that's why you put up your hand. So it's the same thing in football, man. You've got to be able to give yourself the biggest chance to get somewhere, whether it's in a pro game or a semi-pro game, you know. And kids definitely don't realize that you can play for the local team, you can earn decent money, you know, you're still playing at a good level, playing on nice grass, you're playing in front of fans, crazy fans that come to games that you think, what the hell are they doing here? But they turn up every weekend, and you might be able to, you know, if you've got have a good run, you might be able to pay some of your mortgage off, you know. Kids don't realize that you want to be able to, as much as you want to play at the best, highest level, you can still earn a good living and still have a good life in playing in, you know, part-time football.
Yeah, and that's you said it. I don't need to say it. You said it there.
I think I would have told myself, you know, that. I definitely never heard that from anyone, you know, when I was younger.
Yeah, that's wicked, and that's why it's so good to have people like you on a platform like this where you can share your story and you can actually educate at the same time. So it's not just about sharing your story and getting to know you, but it's also about empowering the next generation and saying to them that, look, mate, we've made the mistakes already. You don't need to make those same mistakes now. Do you understand? Yeah. We've made the mistakes for you.
Yeah, definitely. I was hard-headed, you know, when I was young. Like someone would tell me something, and I would want to experience it myself. You know, so I get why these kids, you know, I like the ones that are, you know, responsible and, you know, taking control of their own path. So if you can touch one of them, that would be sick, man. That would be sick.
No, wicked. So then when you're at Gillingham, do you sign pro there or does it happen somewhere else?
Yeah, so literally I had, my year was like the last year of third year scholars. So I just broke into that barrier, and yeah, you want to hear the story of me getting a pro is crazy as well, because literally it's hard, I don't want to say it, but knowing people as well can help big time, you know.
And listen, there's nothing wrong in saying that. 150% knowing people helps in this game.
I've always tried to be as as honest as I can in football and try and be like, if you're good enough, you'll make it. That's how I always thought in my head. You know, if I'm good enough, I'll make it. I'll make it. But if you know people, sometimes it's definitely going to help. You know, so literally, spent the 2 years as a scholar. First year was great. Second year was dodgy. Second year, youth team manager that come in. I think he just didn't like me. Like when you just there's nothing wrong with the person. You can't say nothing bad about him, but you just don't like him, or you just don't get on. I feel like he felt that towards me. So he made it hard, but I sort of I've got to grips with being treated not treated illly, but treated in a way where I wasn't part of everyone else. So just say it like that. It was like putting it in bad words. So it sort of made me grow as well. But anyway, as I was at Gillingham, I was still training with Danny Bailey. I was still training with him. I was still putting in the work. And one player that he played with was the manager, the first team manager.
Oh wow!
So he one day. All right, just before I tell you that, I'll tell you the story of how I got into the first team. But I got into the first team myself. I'll say that, yeah. So, when I knew the youth team manager didn't like me, I was literally just saying I wouldn't say anything to him. He would ask me a question, I'll just blank him. I just wouldn't say anything because I know he's just trying to get on. So, I mean, I wasn't the nicest, easiest person to coach. I'll say that. But literally, anything that he was trying to do was just like, he's trying to just get onto me. So I just left it. And people knew that all the rest of the boys just looking at him, thinking like, they're looking at me, thinking he's just being a prick.
Yeah.
So one training session, I used to get sent home from training. That's how bad it was. I used to get, in the middle of the training, they sent me home because I wasn't listening. So the youth team would train at one point, and the first team would train at another part. It would train at the same time. And they're quite far, but you can see and hear them.
Okay.
So one day it was raining, and he was just stopping and starting every second, literally trying to get a shape. You stand here, you do this, you do that. Okay, what happens if you do that? Asking people questions, putting them on the spot. And he was just stopping it. And I was like freezing. So I put my hands down my trousers like that. Like, it wasn't a good look. I shouldn't do that, it's not good. But and then I was looking at the first team, and they were laughing and joking, and everything was just looking fun. I was like, that's looking sick. And then this is like, this is dead. So the manager's like, Marvin, and I turn around. He's like, what did I just say? And then I was just like, I don't know. And then he's like, get your stuff and fuck off home. I was like, all right, cool. So walked off, and where we trained, we got changed in the first team at the football ground. So we had to drive to the training ground.
Okay.
So it wasn't my drive, so I had to wait and just wait for someone to take me home when they finished training, basically. So the first team had finished, and the gaffer, the manager, come past me. He was like, Marvin, why are you sitting there? And I was like, I got Paul sent me home. And he's like, all right, don't worry, tomorrow come train with us, with the first team. I was like, okay, all right, let's go. So literally, I didn't say a word to anyone. We have to pack away the stuff in it because when the first team had done and whatever. And we drove back to the ground, showered, went home, slept fine, woke up, and then went back to training. And I wasn't doing none of the youth team jobs. I wasn't cleaning the balls. Everyone was like, what's Marv doing? What's he doing? And then I walked into because the first team changing room is where the first team changed, and the away changing room is where the youth team changed.
Okay, yeah.
I went into the first team changing room and just sat there, and then all the boys were saying hi and whatever. So, and then I went and trained with them, and if you saw the manager's face, the youth team manager's face, he was just like, he was livid like, it was just crazy. Anyway, I trained with the first team, and I've done all right, man. I've done well, and the first team manager liked me, and that helped. That towards the end of the season, that helped me, get a look in, I guess. And then,
but in a really, really roundabout way, you owe a lot to the manager who didn't like you, didn't it?
Yeah, literally did not like me, and I reckon if I saw him now, he'd probably say, yeah, you was a shit. You was a little shit. He'd probably say that. That's what I think.
But at the same time, if you see, look, everything in life happens for a reason, and people do that. And in football, it's exactly the same. And I always say to people, it's a window of opportunity. The opportunity will come in at a time where you least expect it, and this is the prime example of it. Where, all right, it's your fault. Yeah, we know you shouldn't. As a coach, I would not advocate any player putting his hands in his pants and not listening to the session. I'm not going to advocate that. But you now being old enough, you know that was a mistake back then. But at the same time, I can look at it from a different angle as well and say, well, if you don't do that and you don't get sent home and you're not standing there and the first team gaffer don't go past you, you don't get your opportunity in the first team. And who knows, that might be the difference between you having that pro contract and not having that pro contract. That little moment right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Because after that, it was about you.
Yeah. And I'll never forget that, man. I'll never, ever forget that. As long as I live, I just remember. That's one of my, the funniest stories, I guess, that I could think of that helped me, something that wasn't great. And then, literally training with the first team. And then one time I was on, the first team manager was on the phone near the changing room. And he was like, Marv, come here, I've got someone to speak to you. I was like, who the hell is this? Like, gave me the phone. And it was Danny Bailey. I was like, what's going on, Danny? He was like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. He's my good friend and this, that, and other. And, I guess that gave me a big boost.
Yeah.
I felt comfortable.
I think it's very important that we do say, though, and we're not I think we're both honest enough and old enough to now say that in football, I was as naive as you in a sense where I was like, and a part of my coaching career, I was that naive as well. If you're good enough, you're going to make it. If you're good enough, you're going to make it. Put the work in, you're going to make it. And then I started to realize that, wait, there's a political side to this game as well. But that doesn't mean that you can't not be good. Yeah. I think people really need to understand that there's doors that can be opened for you. Yes, no doubt about it. But that's in any field. Mm-hmm. It could be in a solicitor's office, and it could be in an estate agent. The manager, and you've got more chance of getting a job. That's just life at the end of the day. But that don't mean you can't be bad at this. And football is one of those where you can't hide. You can't hide behind a laptop. You can't hide doing things. You can't do that. You have to go out there. You have to show it. Because if you don't, someone else is going to be ready to take your spot. So yeah, there is that. I mean, I know you say that. Okay, having Leon there was, it helped. But at the same time, you still had to earn your stripes as well.
Yeah.
You get me? And I think you should. I think people should acknowledge that. You have to give credit to that as well, because you still have to go there. You still have to train, and you still have to earn your spot at the end of the day, because the gaffer wants to win. That's the game. That's the name of the game. The name of the game is to win. It doesn't matter who you know and what favor you're doing. If you're not good enough, you're not playing.
Yeah, definitely have to produce the goods as well. 100%.
Yeah. So, talk to us about that pro contract, man. How because obviously you started football late. You didn't have the academy life. You didn't have what your friends had in terms of the scholars. You went to a football college. There must have been a time in that journey where you were like, what, am I really even gonna make it in this game? Like, am I wasting my time now? Because that thought comes in our heads as well.
Yeah, no, that definitely come in my mind when I was probably the first week of training at Barking Abbey. Is when a lot of my friends were going to like France or Spain. They were going pre-season with their youth teams, and then. But the thing is, I always had that determination to be like, you know what, I just need to get better. That's what it is. I need to get better. If I'm not better, then I ain't got a chance. So I feel like I learned quick things that the coaches were telling me, because I had good coaches around me. I had great coaches, and things that they were telling me just helped me. Like I had the natural ability,
Yeah.
But to understand the game and to have, one thing is that you got to teach yourself. Like I probably didn't teach myself until late. Was I can push myself harder. I can push myself to like past that limit where I think, I can't do it, man. I push myself. So there was a lot of people like me. Like a lot of my friends were like me. They didn't have a club, So that helped us motivate each other. And there wasn't a day where we was not doing extra stuff. You know, there's 24 hours in a day. You sleep 7, 8 hours, whatever it is. You go to college, you go to work 6, 7 hours. You know, that's 15, 16 hours there. And then the rest of the hours you got to train, you know? So, I mean, obviously you got to look after your body at the same time, but you can do something, you know, in the morning. Like when we was training at Barking Abbey, there was 5 of us traveling in from like literally where I live, around this area. So we would wake up early to go to Barking Abbey because we have to get the bus, 2 buses and blah, blah, blah. And then coming back, we do our college in the morning, train in the afternoon, and we'll get home about 5, 6 o'clock. We'll go straight to the field and do extra training. So, you know, I love training. I just always wanted to do something, always wanted to get better. So that one thing stuck in my head. I can't remember who said it, but it was something to do with someone was training on Christmas Day while everyone else was you know, eating Christmas dinner. I can't remember who said it, but that stuck in my head. And literally, loads of my friends that play football, we had this. It was like a religious thing. Every Christmas, we'll go and train somewhere.
Yeah.
Every Christmas, you know. So we've done that for years. There's loads of us though. There's loads of people like me. You know, that didn't get something or somewhere at the right time. But what you know, one thing that I can say is that I put in the hours. I put in the days, the months, you know, the years of even training by myself as well. It's rubbish, but there's a field near me and they never used to have nets. You know, it's just goalposts. And literally I had one ball, I had one football. I was practicing shooting and I'd have to go and fetch the ball.
Get the
ball
ball.
going mad far. Yeah, the ball going mad far. But I visioned myself doing it before I do it. Like the day before, I'll say, tomorrow, you know what? The weather's gonna be terrible. I know it's gonna be rubbish, but I've got one ball. Let me just go and just try and hit the bar or just try and do something. And then I'll do it. I'll go and do it, you know? So if you don't vision yourself doing stuff, then you ain't gonna have the motivation to go and train and go and do extra work. So I wasn't scared of doing extras, 100%. So
That's brilliant. And then did you take that same mentality when you got the pro contract? Because obviously that must have been a massive, massive deal for you to get that pro contract.
Yeah, that was a massive deal. The way they told me as well was a funny one as well. The manager, he was a nice guy, you know, a really nice guy. He was, he looked like he would eat up anyone, he would beat up anyone. He sort of built a team that was just like monsters. They were all monsters, and yeah, and they were aggressive. And I think the one thing that he liked about me, I was confident. I didn't care who I was training against. I never knew none of the first team players, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I've never heard of you. You've only played here. That's how I felt. You've only played here. You haven't played in the Prem. And some of them have. Some of them actually have, and I just never realised. So I was confident when I go into training, I'll just take the ball, do something, and just be like, yeah, I don't care. You know, just give me the ball. I was that sort of confident. So the manager loved that. And the aggressiveness, yeah, he just like, he was a nasty guy. Like, he was very aggressive, and he looked after me, man. He looked after me. So that's the way they told me.
What year would you say you was at Gillingham? Because it's just one player that just rings my head. I know he was at Gillingham.
2005 or 6 to 2009.
Oh, so that was early. Bit earlier. Yeah, because there's a boy that, well, not a boy now, man plays at Billericay, who was at Gillingham, Doug Loft. And I'm just trying to think if he was there, because if you were around players like that, then yeah, you were around seasoned pros, like that's how it goes from. And that's the thing, like sometimes, especially being from ends, especially being from this area, because we don't have a lot. I mean, there is, don't get me wrong, especially in the last few years, there's been a lot more representation in a non-league and the lower leagues. But we don't have a lot. So we don't have a lot to look up to. So we don't actually, like, even for someone like myself, when I got a job at Billericay, I had to learn about all these players. Now, these players were seasoned pros. Like, they got like 500-600 league appearances under their belt. Do you understand? Like, they've done stuff in the game that I can only dream of doing. But you neglect it because you don't know about it.
Yeah.
You know, you're oblivious to that these people actually exist, and they're actually football players, like, because you're only looking at the Ronaldos and the Messis and the Rashfords and even the young boys that are breaking through, like the Sterlings and the Greenwoods, and this is what you're looking at. So I think it's really, really important. That's why I keep saying it to these youngsters, that there are people like us in that who have been there or who are there currently, who are educating the youngsters and saying, "Nah, mate, it's not a joke. Like, you going to play for Gillingham, don't knock that. That's not a joke."
Yeah.
You understand? And how much of that played a part in you? Because when you go there, is there part of that mentality within you to say, well, it's only Gillingham, like, I'm gonna wreck this up?
Yeah, I had that in my head, man. And even though that I was very, I trained hard and I had so much confidence, it was the fact of believing as well. So I believed I was better than this, you know. Maybe at one point I was, maybe at one point I wasn't, but I had that belief. So, you know, if you have the belief and that confidence and you work hard at the same time, like, you never know what can happen, you know. And the right timing, I guess, that drove me through quite a lot of the stuff that happened there.
That's brilliant. And then after that, you've obviously siphoned around the non-league scene as well. You played at National League level, National League South level. What was that like, though? Because obviously you've had a pro, so, you know, I always ask this question to people because I speak to a lot of people who have had a pro contract and then they come back to National League, and I get varying options. I get varying answers on this, where some say, yeah, you know what, it was difficult. The transition was difficult. Some people say, well, yeah, it was my fault. I know I need to work again. What was it like for you?
It was hard. I can't lie, it was hard. But I always thought I was gonna get a pro club.
Okay.
That's how I thought. You know, I got released from one club, but I thought, yeah, I'll get a pro club. I'll find another pro club, you know. And I literally went on one sort of trial after I got released, and it was only because one of the coaches was part of the coaching staff from the manager that had left.
Okay.
So I knew he knew me, you know, he knew me. So that's the only. I went on two trials. That the guy who signed me a pro at Gillingham, he was now at Crystal Palace.
Oh, wow.
With Neil Warnock, and he's been a right hand man everywhere he's gone. So he invited me in, but we was playing like an in-house game, basically. And I played shit. I played rubbish. I played shit. I'd played about 15 games in League One already, and I'm playing now with boys that are my age. You know, I was started playing with people years older than me, but then I went back to my age group sort of thing, and even boys that were younger than me.
Yeah.
And I played rubbish. I played shit, you know. And I had they made another game, and that game was just for me. I never knew this until later.
Yeah.
But this game was just for me. But I never knew. I just thought, let me just go and play this game. And I had another game, and I played bad again. So he sort of tried to help me out, but I didn't help myself out.
Yeah.
By not playing well. So that chance had gone, and then there was another coach that was with me before, and he brought me into. I went to Lincoln City, and I signed a non-contract.
Okay.
So he sort of trusted me straight away, you know. And the manager at the time, he was in and out of hospital. Yeah, I can't remember what was going on with him, but he was in and out of hospital. So he was the coach, the guy that I knew. So he was sort of taking it and not taking it and whatever. So he gave me a little chance, and I played one game. I played one first team game. It was a cup game against Grimsby. I played really well, and then the next week or so, they signed someone else, and that was it. Literally, I never played again. You know,
that there is just what football exactly is. Football can give you the biggest high and take you to places where you didn't think you could go. Yeah. And yet at the same time, it can be as simple as you're playing this week, see you later the next week. And that's that. And literally that's the end of that. You know, that is football. But that's the game we love, and that's what we're going to do about it. But now I want to go back to, obviously, the whole international scene, because not many people can claim that they have international or they're an international footballer. Not many people could say that. I don't care where it is, mate. Like, you know, people might be saying, "Oh, it's only Sri Lanka." Nah, mate. Sorry. It's a national team. I appreciate that. Like, trust me, I appreciate that. So what is it like out there though? Like, in terms of, because you're born and raised in England, you've been educated in England, your technical strengths, your tactical knowledge all comes from England.
Yeah.
What's it like out there? What are the major differences here? Because we have to understand how far away the South Asian football scene is away from like the global level kind of thing.
Yeah. You know what? I was surprised. I'll tell you that. I was surprised. First off, probably from the way the coach was putting on the sessions, it was like he adapted like a European style.
Yeah.
Trying to enforce that into the team. So that was sort of like, not that they're following us, but they're sort of looking towards where we are instead of like, you know, South America or wherever. And that's one point from the coach. But from the players' side, they're all fit. They're all fit. I'll tell you that. They're all fit. They're all a little bit smaller on the smaller side. But they don't give up, man. They don't give up. You know, that's one thing I was thinking. Like, you know, these lot are just, they go, like, you get one boy was getting twisted up, and then he just didn't give up. And then the next time he's doing it again, and he just loved the competition, I guess. And then another thing was that some of the players were standing out. There'll be like, you know, 2 or 3 players that stood out in my head anyway. That I thought, you know, you're decent. If you come to England, you'll be all right, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's they weren't, you know, there wasn't a lot of freeness for them to be doing stuff themselves. So
Yeah.
I guess I could still see more coming out of them. I think because it was a young team. It was a really, really young team. Like, I was one of the oldest players there. So it was like I was just seeing potential.
Nah, that's really good to hear. And it's like, it's positive as well, because, you know, some people say like I'm half Indian. I'm Indian, but my mum's from Zambia, but her grandparents are Indian. But it's a long, twisted way around it. So people will say like, oh, you know, would you do something for the Indian people out there? Me, I'm not so fussed. Like, I don't care if it's India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. I don't care if it's somewhere in Africa. Because there's countries out there because I have a project in Gambia, yeah? And the players that I see and the talent that I see, I look at it and I think, with proper guidance and with proper nurturing, you would be some serious football players. Yeah. And I'm assuming it's the same in places like India and Pakistan and Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. I'm assuming it's exactly the same. You're going to have gems everywhere. You understand? Yeah. But do you feel like there's not really, because of the stereotype, that could be one part of it, or because they're just not good enough? Like, we don't know. I don't really know. I've not really been out there to actually say. Yeah. You understand? But do you think that there is that, you know, the big hitters, I call them the big hitters, like the English, the Germans, the Dutch, they won't go out to the south of Asia to look at players because they just believe it will be a complete waste of time? Do you think that's part of a mindset now that we have to try and break?
I think that's definitely a stereotype, you know, and it's something, yeah, everyone have to work together to break that as well, because that's you know, there's a lot of, I don't know what your stereotype is that you think, but for me, it's like, if I see an Asian player, that means he's not athletic. You know, if you see a black player, he must be quick and strong. You know, that's the sort of thing that we've got to break. Because when you look at the highest level, that's the only level I want to compare it to. You look at the highest level, and you see a white player, black player, and whatever player. They're literally all the same.
Yeah.
But who's working harder, or who's, you know, that's all they're, you know, comparing themselves to. But when you go in the lower leagues, they just look different. They just look at players different, I guess. I don't know how to explain it, man. It's not great, but there's definitely gems out there, and there's definitely what you said. They definitely need some, you know, guidance or some coaching from early, from the early years, and then there'll be, I guess, the international teams have got to do well as well. If you're, for instance, like let's say in Asia, I think China and Japan, they're one of the top two teams, and Australia, they're the top teams in the Asia side. And why are they not looking? Why are the other teams not as good as them? When you look at Europe, England, France, Germany, Spain, everyone's good. I mean, we get a mix of everything, so I don't want to say you can compare, but there's a lot of players that's one thing I wanted to say. There's a lot of players that have got mixed heritages like us, and choose to go and play for the country that's the best. So it's either that or boys that don't know there's international football elsewhere.
But I want to touch on that as well, because what was in terms of Sri Lanka, because we don't only talk about that because that's you, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What was the process like? Was it difficult to get the citizenship, and were they accepting of bringing in somebody from outside of basically Sri Lanka? Was that an easy transition, or was that a difficult transition?
No, it was hard. It was hard, especially now with like the elections of the new ministers and stuff going at the same time. It just it prolonged it. So it would have been a bit quicker, but all the stuff that's been going on, especially obviously Corona as well, is that it is. Well, I can only speak for Sri Lanka, but it was a long process. Everything's a little bit slow.
So do you think that can be a problem as well, and that's a stumbling block as well, because there are players like just in England, we've got like mixed heritage. I mean, if you look down the line, for example, there's players that can potentially represent the Indian national football team, and they'll be half decent. Yeah, these are championship level players, League One level players, maybe even a couple in the Premier League. Yeah, but due to the process, due to the fact that they don't have 100% citizenship, whatever it is, I'm not too educated on it to speak, but I do, like, just from afar, this is a judgment from afar, but I do find, it seems to me like they're actually halting their own progress, because they're not allowing these guys to come inside and help. Because to represent your national team is a thing of pride, in my opinion. Yeah. Why would you stop that?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's hard because when they look at it, football, when you look at Sri Lanka, football's not the first sport.
Yeah.
Football's not the first sport. If it was, I think it would be a little bit different. It would be a lot easier to, expedite stuff or just, do things quicker. But it's not the number one sport in that country. That's why it's not, looked at as, let's get this done quick. But it definitely, I feel like they have the people in and around football over there. They're saying I'm nothing but nothing but a bonus. Like I'm definitely going to help them out. This, that, and the other. So there's people that that can try and help you out. But it's a hard process, man. You got to do some research.
Yeah.
You got to have family that are there in that country, there and then, and you got to know people as well, man.
Yeah, 100%, 100%, and it's good that you've taken those steps, because hopefully after your career is done, maybe it could be something that you look into and see if you can actually help bridge that gap, and maybe I don't know, I'm just putting it out there. I don't know what you want to do. You might want to go into management and stuff like that. That's entirely your prerogative. But maybe on a side, but maybe it's something to look into or something like that to help, because
the country,
I think they need the help, but at the same time, I think we need to help them as well. Like, and it's a two-way thing. So they need to allow us to come in and help, and there has to be two-way kind of thing. But definitely that it's mad. Like it's very inspiring to listen to, and I'm gonna be a fan now. Like I can be honest. I hadn't heard of you till I saw the article. I'm quite honest. But knowing it and knowing that there's a representative of the South Asian community out there, because this is what the fight's about, innit? This is what we go to the FA forums and all of that stuff about, is that we want to see our players play at the highest level that they can potentially play at, and we just want them to be given opportunity. And someone like you has gone and created that opportunity by yourself. So now imagine if you had a whole support network, or someone like yourself, another player, had a whole support network of people behind him. How much easier would that become? Do you see how I'm coming from? So
definitely.
these are the kind of stories that we need to share right there. So I bet you any money in the FA don't know about this. I'll put that down now. I'll put that down right there. Right
now. I know someone in the FA, but I don't think they know. They definitely don't know. You know, a lot of people don't.
Well, my thing is now the next, because they have an annual Asians in Football Forum, which the FA puts on. Well, there's an international footballer who represents the South Asian side. We're bringing you. I'm doing my bit now to try and get you onto a panel over there, because you're the kind of people we need on those panels. You know, so absolute pleasure having you on here. You know, it's been a It's been a brilliant conversation. The journey is immense, and it don't end. Obviously, I've got to ask what is now that obviously you're 31 years old. What's the immediate plans for the future?
Immediate plans is to stay fit, make sure I look after my body, because I'm feeling stuff that I've never felt before. And you know what? I've got a dream again, man. I've got a dream again. I might have another opportunity to go back into full-time football.
Yeah, wicked. So, I love that.
Dreaming again.
And in terms of next season, is the club ready? Are you at a club already, or are you free agent? Are you looking?
So yeah, I finished the season at Whitehawk. Season's just done, and my intention is to go back. But if anything happens from this time to then, whether I can go out to Asia and play somewhere in Asia, then I'm gonna take that chance, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take that chance.
That's brilliant. But know very well I'll be following the journey. I've got your details now, so I'll definitely be staying in touch and whatnot.
Appreciate it, man.
And hopefully there's even a new small fan base that comes your way, because this platform ain't as big as what it should be, but it's growing, and we're trying to grow it as daily. So my episodes come out every few days. Try to keep your eye on them as well. Just trying to keep as much content as we can. But guys, I'm gonna put Marv's Insta socials down there. If you want to give him a follow his journey. I don't think he's done yet. I think we're gonna see some good stuff from him in the coming future. So make sure we follow him and make sure we give him our support. You know what to do. Like it, share it, subscribe it. Enjoy the episode. Marv, absolute pleasure once again. Thank you very much for coming on.
I loved it, man. Thanks a lot. I appreciate you, and keep doing what you're doing, man.
Thank you very much, bro. Thank you very much. Until next episode, guys. Peace.